Now just doing what I just did, I wasn't paying attention to clay. I always I phase out here. I'm like looking over here because I want to make sure I'm paying attention to everything being locked in and strong. All right, so to start opening, this is the best part. Getting somewhere. Okay, so there's a couple ways to do it. What I like to do is start with the thumb of my fist hand. So for you, it's going to be the other hand.
This is another place where I had a problem. If I tried to do both together, I couldn't keep them in sync.
Exactly. So you're doing all the work with one and guiding with the other.
Yeah, which would be black.
So, what's my, so that's, you're using your fist hand, and you're just going to gently put your thumb on it and start pressing down a little bit. And you see this tiny little divot I'm making? I'm being so gentle. I'm just letting my hand rest on the top of this piece and just ever so slightly digging down with my thumb. If you're like way back here and doing it, you'll see it right away. Am I actually hitting the center of my piece? So you can just move a little bit closer to the center until you find the center.
So you should be pressing in the center, right?
Just a little bit, because I'm not even pressing it. What I'm trying to do is find the center with my thumb and letting the very end of it rest there. So then what I'm going to do with my other hand, or that main, support hand, is take my fingers on top and push my thumb down. The rest of my hand is holding on to the side here to keep everything stable. If I'm just like letting my thumb float, that's not going to help anybody. So I have it resting in, using my fingers, and I'm going to start pressing down. Nice and gentle. The natural curve of my hand gives me this excellent divot down into the piece. Now the trick with this is not to get down so far that the bottom of your pot is just going to be absolutely nothing. I can do it visually, but the best trick, it's the most excellent trick, is to use your needle tool for a guide. Hopefully I have it in here. Needle tool, yes. I'm going to hold it like it's a knife that I'm going to cut my meat with, right? My finger is right up on the tip here. I'm going to go straight down and pierce my piece, and then rest my finger right where the bottom of it is,
See how deep it is?
and hold it, and that tells me that's how much space I have. That is the least amount of clay you want left. So that's actually pretty perfect. It's actually okay to have more, because chances are, since you're a beginner, when you start to pull your walls out, you might end up digging your fingers down instead of just out, which will make it thinner. So the more you have it first, the better, especially because we're going to be doing trimming, hopefully next week. You're also thinking like, oh, now I have a hole in my pot, so what is that going to do? Well, we're actually going to do a bit of compression once we get the wall pulled out, and that solves all the issues. So that's how it goes. Hold it like a knife,
So
poke it in
about
there.
half an inch?
It's about 1 centimeter,
Okay.
which is a little under a ½ an inch, just a little under. So ½ an inch, well, we'll keep it American. ½ an inch is where you want to be. Alrighty, so I can just smooth out my little holes for now. So opening is a fun thing. And again, it really only happens with one hand, and you use the other hand to guide it. And that's kind of up to you which hand feels more comfortable doing the pulling, because you're going to be pulling out towards the center of your body. I think I dominantly use my fist hand. So I'm getting in there, and you notice that my hand's kind of like this. Do you see how my middle finger is sort of the one that's closer to me?
Pulling.
That's the primary pulling finger, the center of your hand, the center of your body. It keeps it nice and stable. So as I'm resting my hand there, I'm just going to slowly start to pull my finger towards myself, and I want you to see the shape of the inside of here right now.
Starting to bowl out.
Yes, I'm starting to get a divot, and I'm going to ride that divot all the way out. So I have my fingers, the rest of them are just resting.
With your middle finger?
The middle finger.
Okay.
I'm guiding around it with my other 2 fingers.
Okay.
And what I'll do is put my other hand on top to give it some additional force and stability. And I'm slowly pulling towards my body. You might end up doing something like scraping a bit of clay off of the inside. That's totally fine. If you're just scraping to pull it out, then you have to ease up on your pressure a little bit. maybe engage all 3 fingers instead of just one. You also might end up with some weird lines happening in the bottom, but that's fine. So I'm going to keep pulling out towards myself, and you'll notice that the clay is also coming up. So whereas I started more flat, I'm kind of curling at this point. All the pressure is happening with my fingers inside the piece, and I'm letting the rest of my hand conform to whatever the clay is doing outside of it. The only force I'm using is just this inside portion of my finger here. Now I've got to a pretty good spot. And when I get to the point where it's coming out towards me, I'm actually going to use my thumb on the outside to make sure I can feel how thick that's getting. This is a good place to start. This is about 1.5 inches. It's a good wall. So now I have to look at my bottom. What happened here? This is a weird dome shape. I'm not really sure what I'm going to do with it. Well, of course I know what I'm going to do with it, but you're just like, what now? That's when we bring our rib into play. Plastic, wood, metal, doesn't matter. I like plastic because it conforms really easily. I'm going to get this thing pinched in my hand and not let anything get it out of there. This is in there. I'm going to start in the center. Again, my force is happening with that same hand, and I'm just guiding it with my other. Starting in the center, I'm going to start pressing down.
Now, it seems like last time I learned they did that with the sponge. How is it different to do the rib?
The rib is compressing more than a sponge could. The sponge is porous, it's soft, it's allowing, you know, either more water to get into your piece or not. Like I have a really severe dip here right now, so to ease that I might come out to this edge at first. Can you guys see the angle I'm hitting this? I think you guys might be a little far away. I want you to get like on top of this piece right now. You can also use a little moisture so it doesn't cut. I'm getting in there. Now I can even engage the other hand, but I smooth it out to make it meet my wall. I can come back to the center, press down really hard, and move out towards my wall. Now what this will do is give you a little extra clay that's going to start climbing the walls. So if I go in there with my finger, you'll notice I'm actually pulling it out. So that's okay to happen. The goal of this is to get a nice flat compressed bottom. And it's also better to have more clay on your bottom to start with when it comes to this, in case you push down through too much. So let's go ahead and check how thick this is. See, I lost about half of what's happening there. It's mostly because I'm teaching and not just doing it. But that's why I said it's better to start thicker. That means when I actually go to trim this bowl, I don't need to trim any off the bottom. If I go too far, I might end up with a flower pot. So yeah, give yourself some extra room. All right, so pulled out. I'm just gonna compress that little area there. One more hole. I'm ready to do something with my walls. All right, working with the wall. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna stop right there. I'm gonna let you guys do that first. I don't wanna give you too much information at once. Okay. So go ahead and just pull it out for yourself.